2020 marks Maine's bicentennial year, and while many events have been canceled due to the dangers of the pandemic, nonetheless, now is still a fitting time to celebrate and acknowledge the Indigenous peoples who are still here against great odds, whose homelands were taken through colonization. Human history in what became known as Maine did not begin with the arrival of the Europeans. Prior to the arrival of the first European colonists in the early 1600s and Maine's founding in 1820, Native Americans lived here in organized societies for at least 12,000 years. These are the Wabanaki, people of the dawn, because they live in the easternmost part of North America and are the first to see the dawn.
The Wabanaki are Algonquin-speaking nations whose homelands stretch from northeastern United States to eastern Canada. Originally, there were 5 tribes that banded together to form a confederacy. These include the Maliseet, Micmac, Penobscot, and Passamaquoddy, who are still organized tribal nations recognized by the state and federal government. The 5th group is the Abenaki, who fought for their future descendants and to protect hunting grounds, fishing, and planting fields, even as they suffered genocide in the early 1700s. Today, Maine Abenaki no longer have their own governing structure, and they are not recognized as a tribal nation. However, there are many people in Maine who count among their ascendants Abenaki of the Kennebec River region. And
of the 4 recognized tribes that, quote, each community maintains its own tribal government, community schools, cultural center, and each manages its respective lands and natural resources. Although most of Maine's Native people belong to one of these 4 federally recognized groups on tribal lands, other Native people live in towns and cities across the state. The Maine Truth and Reconciliation Commission refers to the devastation suffered by the Wabanaki people of Maine as cultural genocide, referring to language and other distinct cultural practices that the colonizers and others through the 20th century deliberately attempted to destroy. This genocide was very much physical, structured, and systematic as well. Yet, while their languages remain threatened, there are cultural and actual survivors: elders, language keepers, storytellers, medicine people, scientists, farmers, and artisans of all kinds who have kept the traditional knowledge alive and are teaching the young. While this knowledge could be lost if those culture and language keepers pass on before others learn from them, this traditional knowledge is very much relevant today, maybe especially today, to all Mainers, as in this bicentennial year we shelter in place.
The title to this unit is To Perceive is to Make a Friend. This unit of lessons was inspired by our pre-course reading of Braiding Sweetgrass, Indigenous Wisdom, Scientific Knowledge, and the Teachings of Plants by Dr. Robin Wall-Kimmerer, Ph.D., Distinguished Teaching Professor and Director of the Center for Native Peoples and the Environment, SUNY, and the students' research into Wabanaki culture and history. The main idea behind these lessons is that art making is not mere expression but a way to understand our world and the relationship within. The theme running through these lessons is understanding that humans are one species within an interconnected web of relationships in the natural world. The key term is reciprocal relationships. There are 5 sequential art lessons in this unit intended for grades 6 through 8, but much of the content may be welcome review for high school as well. These art lessons are intended to link both the contemporary Wabanaki culture and the information about plants that can be found in Maine.
Our mentor in this project is Kathy Pollard of Know Your Land, who is the lead organizer of the Bangor Land Trust's Edible Landscape Project, a project that is informed by the imperative that by conserving vulnerable lands and waters, humans are able to help preserve a balance in which they also can thrive. The intentions of the Edible Landscape Project include peace, protection, pursuit of wellness, and now added food for the hungry. She and her daughter, Anne Pollard Ranko, Penobscot tribal member and artist and consultant, have been instrumental as well in guiding our language and understandings of Wabanaki history and culture.